YouTube, it's Brian Phillips, something all new from Durafly. It's the Rare Bear. We've got ours shown in the green livery. They also have this in a gold livery. We didn't add any of the stickers because I thought the thing looked so spectacular. And boy, oh boy, it went together super easy. We also set ours up with an AR630, which is mounted right there. And we're using a Spectrum 2200 50C. It's a 4S pack, so this thing is gonna blaze. And by the way, you do have to mount these, no glue, comes with double-sided tape, one screw for the tail, one screw for the wings. This thing builds in minutes. We managed to stretch out a couple of hours. But if you look at the takeoff flaps and landing flaps, we did set that up, as well as we also have spoilers, spoiler-ons for takeoff and landing as well, depending on what we need. I'm not sure which one it's gonna like better, and obviously you don't have to do that, but we split those out and the wires reach. We didn't have to modify anything. It was very easy. So anyway, Durafly is doing a great job. The wind is blowing from our right to left. We're gonna launch right to those towers. This is a belly lander, so of course you have to hand launch it. We have launch assist turned on in safe, so we're gonna launch in safe. This thing has tons of power. I could probably take off straight up, but we're just gonna do our best. Here we go. Oh yeah, no problem at all. We're in safe currently. We opened up the flight envelope and I probably have a little bit of wiggle there. And now you can see the wiggle has subsided. Absolutely super easy to fly. Got about 30% throttle. This thing is gonna blaze. Like I said, it's gonna be super fast, out of safe, into AS3X only. Holy crap. That thing is so fast. Holy shnikes, guys. That's like 60% throttle, guys.
That's crazy.
Need a little bit extra expo. I'm actually, for the first time ever, I went to my high setting for expo. Now I'm gonna need just a touch of trim on the elevator. And I'm gonna give that to myself here as soon as I can get, about 4 or 5 clicks of trim there. Okay, camera crew, you wanna come back to more your normal conventional spot. I'll do some smooth passes, about 10% throttle. Camera crew, back just a little bit. Beautiful. Out of the throttle, just gliding by. Gosh, I wonder if we almost need to turn on braking. Goodness gracious, that thing is insanely fast. Holy cow.
I hope you can see it.
Yeah, no kidding. It is like insanely quick. Very easy to fly, but very fast. Look at the ops. It's like insanity how fast this thing is. Holy cow. So guys, we're gonna bring it down. It just covers so much dang ground. Makes me wonder if you should use a 631 instead of a 630, just so you can get that extra antenna. A little bit of climb on throttle. Good thing we have one of the best camera crews in the history of camera crews. That is
I was gonna say,
Maiden,
of course. Filming by suggestion.
Well, it's kind of like fly by suggestion. It's so dang fast. That's 70% throttle. Roll rate is super high. I mean, this thing has tons of throws. Inside pass, I'm gonna cut in front of you for just a quick sec, sorry. You good?
Yep.
You hear the echo? It's so sweet. Guys, this is the type of plane that'll get you in trouble because it is so dang fast. I mean, so dang fast. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the V1200, only easier to fly.
Oh yeah.
Or actually the V700, which to be honest with you, the V700 it's more intense because of the pitchiness of the prop. This may be a little bit more aggressive. I have a timer set for 5 minutes. I hope we get 5 out of it. But you could go in here and relax this thing. I wanna see what happens when I deploy flaps. Okay, takeoff flaps, now landing flaps. Oh wow, look at it slow down. That is like putting brakes on, guys. And it's still super controllable. Look at the wide flight envelope. I cannot believe it. They actually worked. Okay, out of the flaperons, a little bit of throttle. Now I wanna switch over to spoiler-ons. Okay, so we're gonna try the spoiler-ons. Here's takeoff spoiler-ons. Probably squeeze out a little bit extra speed in that setting. Now landing spoiler-ons. Ooh, it gets, oh, it's gonna drop the tail down just like I wanted so that you can drag it. Okay, out of the flaps altogether. And just tons of power, guys. You pretty much cannot run out of power with this thing. It is insanely powerful. Goodness gracious. Thank God for those clouds up there,
kidding.
camera crew. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into the spoiler-ons, takeoff spoiler-on setting. And guys, AS3X and Safe both work with spoiler-ons or flapper-ons as configured. And yes, you do squeak out just a hair extra speed, it looks like. And I'm gonna go back to flapper-ons and slow it down downhill. Tortoise, let's see how the roll rate works out. Oh yeah, slows it down nicely. It's still obviously moving, but we gotta take up a little bit more real estate to just slow it down. And we're gonna use the tractoring prop at about 10 to 15% throttle here. And we're gonna just bring it around nice dihedral on those wings, keep it flyable. Look how nice you can slow this down, guys. Look at the envelope there. Hard on the throttle, about 10 extra percent. That's what I mean by hard on the throttle. This thing has so much power. You better be ready to tame the power, folks, because this thing will make you work for it. And I gotta say, it's not often I fly on more expo, but I can tell you this right now, this thing needs a little bit more expo than I'm used to running at, even with the stabilizer, which has this thing locked in, and yet it's still incredibly fast and incredibly furious, just gliding by right over and right through the holes that we have designed, purpose designed into our aerodrome here, up and over. Inside out flight performance, let's see how it feels and looks. Obviously upside down, no problemo. We'll do an inside down loop, inside out loop. Oh, it wants to tip over. And there it is. And by the way, guys, we did set this up with Safe. Obviously we launched in Safe to just give us the best crack at success. Here comes some Safe action. Look at that thing snap. It's so aggressively snaps. Now guys, I'm gonna just show you real quick. If you're brand new to piloting aircraft, the Safe is the way to go. A little bit of throttle here. Thing has a little bit of a cant to the left, it feels like. So I could correct that with a singular setting adjustment in the gyro gain setup. Safe, capture attitude and level aircraft and capture attitude. I'm coming on the inside here.
Yep.
Beautiful, thank you for moving. Okay, so obviously Safe is kind of crazy. I am so glad we did a stabilizer because this thing is insane. It is a handful. But it's an awesome handful, guys. It is so fast. Holy cow. And I gotta say, we have some fast planes. We just coming on the heels of another very fast plane. We have a heavy wind from our left to right. Rudder corrections are solid and effective, but they do tend to give you a little teensy bit of roll because of the high dihedral, so be prepared for that. And in true Reno racing fashion, we're bringing it around as fast as possible, guys. I gotta say, this thing is a blast to fly, but it actually has me shaking in my boots to a certain extent because it is so freaking fast, okay? And yes, when you cover this much ground, you need to be prepared to pull it out as quick as possible. Otherwise, there could be consequences.
And you are over your 5-minute timer.
Oh yeah, still beeping, or it's still chilling. Doing just great. 5-minute timer elapsed a while ago. Haven't heard beeps since. Saw a little bit of an extra correction there at the end of the stroke. That was because I noticed I wasn't correcting fast enough. Hard on the throttle. I'm kind of driving this until I run low. Guys, smart packs, you can get away with that crap because it's gonna self-balance. 4S is gonna leave tons of power. A saggy pack takes you from 4S to 3S in past experience. I hope it doesn't go to low voltage warning. But I can tell you this, at 5 minutes of flight time, this thing did just fine on 50C. I know why they asked for 40C in the manual now, because people are gonna press this hard.
Yeah.
Full throttle. Just watching for it to let off. I feel like it's gotta be letting off. I could see also, because they only did one stripe on one wing, it really does help with orientation. But I gotta say, I think it's ready to land, okay? I mean, we're not like out of battery, but we're getting close. Okay, so takeoff flaps here and then landing flaps. Let's see if we can bring it downhill. Nice, relaxing landing here, right over the top of that. See if we have a bunch of rotor. We don't. And there it is. Beautiful. All right, throttle cuts on, out of the flaps. That was what I would call an 8-minute and 28-second second flight. Per the timer, cleared the timer back to 5. Guys, we were flying that with 2200 4S, okay? That's a relatively fresh pack for us, meaning it's not been beat to death by Brian Phillips RC. I tend to think we're gonna be low on voltage, but I forgot to grab my XBC battery checker. We didn't see any massive performance drop, but we did see a little bit of performance drop in that last high-speed pass, and I could feel it. I could tell we're getting close. So what we'll do is we will go ahead and plug it into the XBC battery checker. But I gotta say, let's check for damage. First of all, look, we took out this poor dandelion.
Oh, bummer.
Oh man, look at that.
Saving that
Whacked
one.
it right off. Ow. Yeah, so guys, Rare Bear from Hobby King, Durafly. Beautiful plane, well designed, designed to belly land, and does it fine. I didn't think that flaperons were gonna work worth a crap on this plane. I thought it was gonna be a waste of time, but we wanted to show how to do it in the Unbox Build radio setup. I was wrong. They are almost necessary because this thing lands at 1 trillion miles an hour, okay? Also, 2200 4S might be a perfect CG all the way forward to the firewall, okay? You can fly it as low as 1800 according to the documentation that comes with this. We could not get the manual to download, full disclosure. So we had to figure out which of the 2 screws goes where. The shorter screw goes here, the longer screw goes here, and the shorter screw goes there, which is gonna be counterintuitive. When you get to the build video, you'll understand and appreciate why we had that problem, because our vertical stabilizer started to cant off to the side because the screw had too much penetration. And if you penetrate too hard, bad things can happen.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, this Rare Bear did an amazing job of penetrating the air at high speeds. And I'm talking about very, very fast, very furious, and very fun. Well done, well built, sturdy, loud and exciting. The only thing I don't like about this plane is how out of balance the prop sounds like it is. It might not be out of balance, but I'm pretty sure it is, and I'm gonna demonstrate that here. We do have a little bit of juice left. By the way, show them my right knob. You'll see that I'm backed off a little teeny bit. Oh, and before I forget, we'll probably do a second flight because we have time spent so fast. I'm gonna just try to get into shade here. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna click. You guys can see, just got a little teeny bit.
There you go.
A little bit of trim. Okay, so we're gonna scroll down here and go to rates and expo. I am gonna make my middle setting, instead of 10, I'm gonna make that 25. Okay, I'm gonna make this, instead of 5, I'm gonna make that 12. And then instead of 20, I'm gonna make this 40. And I'm gonna drop the rates on this down to 80. Okay, so that's gonna give us a lot more expo. Not quite double and not quite half, okay? But it gives us an out. The idea on fast flying planes is you need to be Johnny on the spot. When you're in the air, you don't always get a second chance to make the correction. And this thing is a handful, but it's a good handful. And I like good handfuls. You probably do too. So, all right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna reset. I'm gonna change my timer here. I felt like 5 was actually pretty safe. So if you guys are using an older pack, you might wanna leave it at that, but I'm just gonna go into timer, and I'm gonna change my 5 up to 8, okay? Now I'll be able to push it a little bit harder because I'm gonna have my expo worked out for the second flight. But I gotta say, if you guys are the type of pilot that can fly in a little bit of wind, you can see the flags over here are moving. You can kind of see, this is like weird, kind of relaxed, little bit turbulent from the sun baking the earth, but generally speaking, calm weather, okay? When I say calm, there's a pretty good amount of wind going this way, and you can tell from our windsock here, okay? That's deceiving because it's actually pointed more at this trajectory, it feels like. Yeah, maybe it's just the angle, but I feel like it's here to here. So I did get a good landing in. I felt like if I would have slowed it down better and dragged the tail, that would have been good. But also they designed this plane in such a way that it really was good for protecting the belly. This is all plastic, all the way around 360 degrees, plastic, 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 but then foam. This would be a nice place to have plastic as well, because a lot of times on these, I like to drag that tail into the ground. A little bit of a nose bang you'll get when you do that though. So just be careful. that was one of the things I like so much about my spoiler-on setup, which still has the deployment delay. And yes, the elevator correction is opposing regardless. So I'm gonna just switch in high speed here. Okay, excuse me. That's the full landing spoiler setting. See how it goes up? See how it goes down? Okay, the delay is true if I switch it from the flap mode. But if I activate or deactivate the mix, it's gonna be an immediate flip, okay? There isn't a way that I know of to make that slow. But as you can see, we have a slow deployment down. When you go down with flapper-ons, you go up with elevator. Outboard flapper-ons cause the plane to go down. So the elevator counters that and keeps you at level flight with a larger drag coefficient, okay? When you go to spoilers, so takeoff spoilers would just be like a really fast flight envelope, and then you're gonna basically go the other direction, okay? So then when I deploy for landing spoilers, you'll see that this goes opposite, okay? If you were to have an inboard flap on a plane with a wing type like this, the inboard flap would cause the plane to balloon a little bit. It would go up. Then you would have a downward correction on your elevator, okay? But you're not gonna run those as spoilers most of the time on an inboard wing type, okay? We show all that in the Unbox Build Radio setup, all the setup, up to and including assembly, all that. We do that for every video here on Brian Phillips RC. So if you wanna see that, check it out right now. It's published for your viewing pleasure. But if you don't like this plane and you wanna see something similar, or maybe a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, whatever it is you want, we've got it right now on brianphillipsrc.com, bprc.me if you don't know how to spell, okay? Check it out at your leisure, and you'll find links to not only buy the planes, but also watch the video footage that we have produced in playlist format. We'll take you to the playlist. You can find all the videos about a given plane, sorted by type, brand or manufacturer that we worked with, just to make it easy for you. All right, up next, we're gonna fly again. All right, folks, so we just got done with our first flight, about 8.5 minutes of flight time. Obviously, we have a smart spectrum pack here, so we're gonna go ahead and unplug the power, and then we're gonna pop it out and go straight to the XBC battery checker, and then we're gonna probably go ahead and throw a fresh one in and do one more flight so we can see how the Expo helped. As you can see, nice square lines, which means we didn't puff the pack, but it is nice and toasty, okay? So we're gonna plug this in. Yeah, 14.8 volts. Yeah, that was about right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got this to just below storage voltage. Now these Gen 2 packs store at 3.9 volts versus a 3.8 on a more standard pack, but feel that, camera crew.
Yeah, it's a little warm.
It's a little toasty. All right, and my son built this. He wants to show you real quick. You can show him.
You want to show 'em?
That came in the kit and it was super fun. I kind of gave it to the kids to play with because I figured they'd get a kick out of it, and they did. And show them how it comes off of the stand. It's really fun. And I don't know why they include these things, but they did.
Yep.
This piece is a little loose.
A little bit loose. Yep. But then you can take that off and you can just play with it. It was
Yeah.
pretty easy to build, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little fun thing that comes in the package. We did not expect that. We had no idea it was coming with the airplane. So it's super cool. It just comes in a little envelope and you can glue it together if you want. And really fun little product with it. Adds a little extra value. Okay, up next, flying really fast. All right, so I'm gonna try something different on this launch. Throttle cuts off, gains are where they were, which is just below 50. More expo, but 100% rates, okay? Went up to 25% in the middle step. And I'm gonna go back to safe. I'm gonna give her heck this way. You can see the wind is kind of the same direction. I'll have some grass to catch the plane if I don't get a launch. If I have a failure to launch, I think I'll be okay. But I'm just gonna go kind of crazy on throttle, okay? You ready?
Yep.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm still in safe. Give me a second to kind of get my wits about me. Now out of safe, and here it is. Now we're in AS3X mode. What do you think, guys? Yeah. What do you think of that? Oh, it's so fast, it's insane. It's almost like stupid fast. It's like too fast. I feel like this plane on 3S would be plenty fast. That is just insanity. You cover so much ground. And I feel like most people are gonna want, okay, I'm going to even the lower rates. Let's see how the lower rates go. Ooh, that really makes it easier to fly. Oh, that is nuts, guys. I'm barely moving the stick. I got like a 4, 5, 10% input, if that, on the deepest pullout, okay? So there's a pullout, I'm barely touching the stick. And that's why you can get away with the lower rates, guys. I love listening to an echo into the trees like it's like some sort of a tornado that like just left our front yard. Jeez. And the only thing I wish was different is more differentiation between top and bottom of airframe. In terms of the livery, okay, I'm gonna try an inside pass.
Okay.
You good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just don't trust me too much, okay?
Okay.
That bird just flew over the damn runway and it freaked me out because I'm like, I'm glad he didn't fly up and get hit. Yeah, the lower rates really tame this thing because it's not hard to fly. It's just got so much speed to it. And it's a good thing that they did a nice stiff wing because if they didn't, this thing would have already been in tatters, okay? It is incredibly quick. Take off flaps now. Flapper-ons. Landing flaps. Look at this, guys. Look at this, folks. Look at that thing slow down to Tameoville. It is just like so much different. Manned aircraft, can you spot that for me at all? He's way high, I think.
I can't see him.
Over the horizon, possibly. Be to our left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nice and slow here. Look at that thing. Just stable as stable gets, even with the wind at our tail cane. To take off flaps now. Now out of the flaps altogether. I think we're high. We're high. And way out there. We're good. Okay, throttle. The only problem is with a fast plane like this, you want to make sure you're respecting your airspace. Is he up? He's straight up.
Oh yeah, I see him. He's
see
way
him?
high. Yeah.
Yeah, he's way high. He's 2,000 plus feet. We're good. Guys, you always got to respect manned aircraft. Here we go. That was low.
Yes, it was.
We didn't cut the grass. That's what the Yarbo does. Guys, if you haven't seen the Yarbo yet, video's coming. It's gonna be super exciting. 4 hours of pure delight. Out of the flaps, and yes, they are right overhead.
I think it's almost 5.
Yeah. Here it comes, guys. The roll rate on this thing is insane, as well as every other rate. When you go so fast and you got a lot of throws, you don't need a lot. And so this thing just really makes it fun to fly because you have plenty of power to do all the things you want. Now, the one thing you're not probably gonna do with this is you're not gonna get into like 3D stuff. I just don't think it makes sense for this airframe, and you've got so much speed and you kind of need the speed to keep it flying, so take off flaps. I still think this plane would be awesome with some flaps. Some inboard flaps would just widen the flight envelope so much. But the flapper-ons do a pretty good job, which is surprising. I had no idea that we'd be able to see that. But I'm telling you, even with the takeoff flaps, we have just a much wider flight envelope. You can really get in there, you can see it, you can enjoy it. And it's like, when I fly an ultra fast jet or an airplane that's really fast, like this feels like a jet because it's just so dang insane. It reminds me, back when we did, I'm gonna go behind you here, you good? Mm-hmm. It reminds me when we did that P51 from FMS, that really fast Voodoo the first time.
Oh, the racer ones? Yeah.
But that was on 6S, guys. This thing is insane on 4S, okay? And it's way better suited to the speed, easier to load the battery, well done, in fact, in just about every way. You will really enjoy this plane. I gotta say, it's really well done. I'm super impressed with the Durafly models we've gotten. Or was the Twin Otter an H-King?
That was an Avios one, actually.
Oh, it's Avios? Okay.
We have the other Durafly one we haven't released it yet, but we were really impressed with it.
Oh yeah,
It's just
you're talking
out of
about
stock
the,
right now.
what is that thing
The
called?
Carbon Arcus.
The Carbon Arcus, yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was really
But we
good,
also
too.
flew it in snow, guys. But we just neglected to release in time because we had a couple other things going on and didn't quite get it done in time, which sucks because we really enjoyed that one too. So guys, I gotta say, that, and then what was the other Warbird we did? I forget which
Oh,
warbird
that was an H-King, the Steadfast, the Yak 11.
The Yak, yeah, there you
Yes.
go. And the Yak was really good too. So, I mean, the only thing about that is the landing gear were hokey as all get out. So it wanted to have pretty bad ground handling. So guys, at the end of the day, is this a plane for everybody? Not for people with bad eyes. It is certainly not a beginner plane. This plane is fast and it is challenging to fly because of that. But at the same time, you guys don't realize, if you don't have a basis for comparison, just how freaking fast that is. It's gotta be one of our fastest planes we've ever flown. And it just gives and gives and gives and gives and gives. It's like the camera crew. Stall turn. Will it eventually stall? Yes, but the rudder is not very effective at 0 miles an hour. I'm out of throttle still.
That's crazy.
It's just nuts. Oh, what are we at? We're at minute 16 away. I just felt like I heard a little bit of a lull. And if you hear a lull on this, you got to respect your time. If the thing is low on juice, get it to the ground because it does need some power to keep flying. 1 minute.
Okay.
Take off flaps now. But guys, you can, make no mistake, you can control it and you can fly it slow, like full landing flaps. Look at this thing slow down. It's surprising for being flaperons how good that works. Now, the other thing too is, I gotta say, engine or motor braking would be nice. It'd make me feel better. You know, like if I'm coming into land, a belly lander, I feel like that prop is tractoring, which helps slow us down a lot. And you do want that, but boy, having the braking makes me feel more comfortable with putting down and not breaking the prop. That being said, when I first started flying RC airplanes, I thought I'm gonna break this prop because it's a belly lander. Well, you just don't. It doesn't break props. And I don't know why that is. Every once in a blue moon, yes, you will break a prop, but by and large, it's because you landed it wrong. That's our timer. 8.5 minutes is what we got last time. I'm gonna go one more pass. Whoa, I almost hit the trees, guys. One more pass. So one thing I like about this plane, you do a presentation pass, you set it into a bank, and then you use the rudder as your elevator. So you can set your height. And boy, oh boy, does it work good. Yeah, I think we're ready to land. Okay, so take off flaps. Where's the guy in the air? He is going in circles. He turned around. I can't tell where he is. I'm super low, guys.
I know.
We should be good. Okay, full landing flaps now kicking in. We're good, camera crew.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about it. He's up high, 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 high. Okay, I just want to see if I can get this. Yep. Oh, tall grass landing, dang it. I did come out of the flaps at the end there. Now I want to talk about this for a second. Normally we would come in and land right here, but if you didn't already know it, as you can see, we are getting ready for the expansion. We are getting in the crosswind strip, which is called, or also known as, the dam runway. Why is it the dam runway? Because there is a dam. We built a dam so we could build a runway, so we could have a pond, so we could also drive over the dam to get to the building and keep everything contained on this one property. That's another property, and there's another one over there. But the point is this: we knew when we built this property that there was a good possibility we're gonna have some sort of a runway. Show them this rock. This is not gonna be typically conducive to belly landing airplanes,
I'm gonna belly land on this.
So Megan is standing about where I used to overshoot with long belly landings. So eventually this will be concrete, or we might do something different, but it's probably gonna be concrete ultimately. We may put some more stuff on here, but as you can see, give them a shot of it real quick. The dam runway is coming along. We are waiting on permitting, specifically a variance for a 31-foot tall building. That is the limit, is 24. We're asking for 31, plus the cupolas are gonna make it like 36 or something like that. Maybe 37 with spinners on top. What do you call those things? Wind vanes?
Wind vanes.
So it's gonna sit over here. It'll be behind the trees. That's where the full-scale hangar is gonna be, also known as the dam gift shop. Now that's coming soon, but it's also, we come back from Joe Knoll, and that night we come back, well, it's like 2 days, 2 evenings later. We're gonna be at the meeting where they could potentially reject our plans for this building. So it's pretty scary for us. We made it through most of the big ticket items in terms of permitting. And then we had that variance, which opened up like 40 new items that the county has to go over. So it's really scary, but we think we've checked our boxes, we've crossed our T's and dotted our I's. So God willing, we're gonna get permission to build this. It should be no problem. You would think a 31-foot tall building should be no problem, since there's one right there, and there's ones over there, there's one right there, there's one back there. You would think that the county would be okay with it, since we're on a freaking farm.
But we still get to ask.
But we still get to ask, and they still get to say no. But that's okay. So this is the way it goes in the real world. So anyway, the reason we're telling you all this when we're reviewing a plane is because we know many of you are watching, and you've been watching for a long time, almost a decade. And I don't know if you guys remember, but I sure as heck do, when we used to fly out in front of our house in our little neighborhood on the double cul-de-sac street. It was awesome. We had beautiful neighborhood. We have wonderful neighbors, and we had great time flying things. And back then we did a lot of Hobby King products, because that's when we were first getting our start. And so it's really cool to come full circle and be dealing with some of these amazing, hugely improved Hobby King offerings like the Rare Bear. Guys, this plane is a handful of super excitement. Now, is it better than a competitive offering like the V700? I'm not gonna say, or like the
V900.
The V900, thank you. V900 versus the V1200. The V1200, yes. The 1200 has retracts that are unwilling to cooperate with gravity. The V900 would be where I would go, you know, up against this. And then also the FMS Flash would be another great competitive offering. All of those are actually made by FMS, either for FMS or for E-flite. Okay, this is made by Hobby King through Durafly, right? Durafly. So Durafly is one of Hobby King's brands. But anyway, we like this plane. I think it's really well done. I think you're gonna really enjoy it. It's a lot more economical than some of the considerably similar offerings. You don't have to worry about chopping your hand off like you do with the Flash. By the way, if you get the Flash, you better be careful, because that thing has chop sueyed some people. I guarantee you it has, because it's got a pusher prop on it. But that thing screams. I mean, same thing, 140 plus miles an hour. I would not be surprised if this thing's breaking 150. It is fast. And for that reason, I'm gonna tell you, I put my expo down to the bottom. So I'm actually gonna kick up my expo and drop the rates on the middle setting, something I almost never do. I might go to like 90%. I might kick up the middle setting to like 35 from 25. And then on the top setting, I'm gonna go to like 50% expo, and I'm gonna drop the rates by another 5%. Because this thing screams for lower rates when you're flying it extremely fast. Because it's just almost scary, because the smallest correction, you know, and you might have noticed me going into climbs, you just don't lose the inertia forever. You're like, you know, 399 feet up before, which we did find out that we're allowed to go higher. We have a 1,200 foot exemption now, so in case you guys are wondering. But that being said, this thing is awesome. Rare Bear, Hobby King, keep up the good work. This thing is awesome. It is very well done. It is an easy build, and you can copy along on our flaperon and spoilers setup, because I'm gonna tell you what, the flaperons are really helpful, but the spoilers are pretty cool. You might wanna play with my second mix so that the spoilerons have a takeoff setting and then like another takeoff setting. I mean, you're not gonna really take off with those, but just in the switch setting is what I mean. So like no flaperons, no spoilerons, takeoff spoilerons, and then you could do, this one could be a little bit lower, and then you could just use them for your high speed intensity. But then on landing, you could still switch back and go ahead and use the flaperons, which yes, they were effective. I did not think they would be. I thought it was gonna be a huge, embarrassing waste of time. Camera crew and I both thought that last night when we were filming. Well, this morning, technically.
Yeah.
So very, very good flight envelope, very good flight experience, very good build experience, very easy build experience. It is like all the things that I want in a plug and play aircraft, okay?
Definitely.
The only thing I don't like about this plane is the fact that there's no LEDs, and the visibility could stand to improve a little bit, okay? Now, that is simple as rattle can style, a little bit of paint on the bottom, did like a high visibility, like a gray or an orange, and leave the top as is. I think mask the bottom, do a little bit differentiation for colors. You know, it's gonna make a big difference. This stripe is not a big enough differentiation. I want more, okay? That is my only, and it is a valid complaint because this thing is fast. And any little bit makes a big difference. LED's not a deal breaker at this price point, but I definitely think it is a very well done plane. And by the way, when we come up with ideas and things that we would like to see on planes, it doesn't mean that the plane that you're buying is not worth the cost or it's not good enough. It's just more along the lines of, I think that that's what others are going to feel is necessary or helpful on this plane. If you get it, you might as well put in the piggy bank a few bucks. What is it, like 10 bucks for a spray paint can these days?
Yeah.
So that you can do that, because this thing, it needs a little extra visibility help top to bottom, okay? It's so dang fast and it's so dang small. And we have beautiful skies for it. We have high contrast with the trees.
Yep.
If you can keep it low, it's not near as bad. But if you're up against the sky at the right time of day, you're gonna have orientation issues, and you better be ready to get it in safe.
Yeah, and you have good depth perception and visibility. If you struggle with visibility,
Yeah.
it's gonna get away from you.
It's gonna get away from the average Joe.
Yeah.
So the guy I've been helping on the phone, you'll know who you are. Don't get this. It's way too hard
Way
to
too
see.
fast.
Okay, all right, that's all I got to say. Rare Bear from Hobby King, awesome experience. Definitely consider it seriously if you're into very high speed, high excitement flights. Links in the video description below. When you buy from there, you help support Brian Phillips RC financially so we can help to fund these giant, obnoxious projects that my wife has not murdered me yet for.
Yet.
And so keep it coming, guys. Keep buying awesome planes, and it's not just to support Brian Phillips RC, by the way. We love this hobby. We want to see more of it. There's a million easier ways to make a buck than making RC airplanes, and especially in the current world of tariffs and tariff battles, get them while they're hot, guys. I only say that because I want you to have the best experience. If the tariffs come down, the prices might come down. If the tariffs go up, I guarantee you they're going to go up. But generally, we've seen in the past, aka COVID, prices went up, they never really recovered. You may have noticed that. Believe me, I have noticed that
maybe.
in these small projects we're doing.
Yeah.
To the tune of lots of money.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars in additional cost. Thank you, COVID. Anyway, guys, at the end of the day, we love planes. We want to see you flying them. And if you're living vicariously through Brian Phillips RC, cut it out. Get in the air. We're here to help you. We're going to get you out of the chair into the air, telling the full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God, about these planes, transmitters, receivers, batteries, and all the different things that help support this addiction. I mean, hobby. And we're going to get you there. So stay tuned. Don't forget, click the bell when you're subscribing, because then you'll be notified of new content, which comes out routinely, okay? A little bit of a slowdown right now because obviously everything is sort of like in kaputs, or it's sort of upset right now with all the world trade wars. But I think we're gonna get past that pretty quick. And I'm hopeful that things are gonna calm down and be awesome as they've ever been, okay? So stay tuned. If we're going to Null, or excuse me, if you're going to Null, check us out. We'll be there from approximately Wednesday to Saturday. Don't know what the timeline looks like on Saturday. A lot of times people pack up and get out of there. But we are planning on for sure being there all day Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then into Saturday. I've got some cool stuff lined up with a couple of cool people. So thank you, Brian. I'm thinking about you and the F-16 1/6 scale jet turbine. And anybody else who wants to connect with us, hit us up in the emails. We are looking for people to fly with, because since we get in an airplane and fly, it's really hard for us to bring much of anything in terms of transmitters, batteries, and things like that. They're just really hard to transport. You guys know it. If you've ever transported stuff on an airline, it's a pain in the neck.
Yep.
So we're pretty much coming empty-handed except for camera gear and ourselves. So we're looking forward to seeing you there. One of the best RC experiences you can have. You will get burnt out for a few days. I promise you, if you go to Joe Null for 10 days straight, you're gonna wanna take a break after you're done. It's that intense, like 20 hours every day of flying. It's awesome, okay? And you'll meet more people that are more obsessed than you are, than you've ever met in your life in the course of just a few days of time. It is worth the trip. We spend thousands of dollars of personal dollars and cents to get there because it's that good. It is so awesome. You gotta make it. Okay, so we'll see you there. And if you guys want to support Brian Phillips in other ways, but you just don't want the Rare Bear, you've already got the Rare Bear, or you're just getting, you know, something different, that's totally cool. There's millions of ways you can do it, but the easiest ways are watch the video, smash the like button, click the bell to, you know, when you are subscribing so you get notified of new content. And we have 4 or 5 other ways: Patreon for monthly support, YouTube for monthly support. Thanks for being monthly supporters, guys. One-time donations through Super Thanks. And then we have PayPal if you don't want to be in those clubs. We totally get it. And then a P.O. box for checks and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we really think the best way is just buy planes when you want them, buy batteries when you want them. We'll help you pick the best that you can get. And we show the no BS, is it really that good kind of review here on Brian Phillips RC. We don't squeeze it into a 2-minute clip, but we do shorts pulled from the long format so you guys can get the most out of your RC experience, because everybody's got limited budgets, limited time, and limited experience. We're gonna get you there. Stay tuned. So much more from Brian Phillips RC.